Hey, what's up, nerds? It's fucking Daz and Petzergling, and this is the winner's game of Group D. It's Free versus Kwanro. Free having trashed Dr. K, the no-name Protoss, and Kwanro having outplayed Ro32 in an actually pretty exciting game, surprisingly. It was a pretty exciting game, showing good play from both players, despite a couple of sloppy mistakes. But Kwanro, I think, actually played pretty well in that game, and he especially showed he had really good control and really good flanking with his attacks here. So I'm kind of excited to see what he can do against Free, who's a top level, one of the 6 dragons, and not only is he a top level Protoss, but he's also known for his PvZ. He's a really good unit control, good PvZ style Protoss. Actually, he took out Jadon. And what was it, with the GOM TV, I think? Or the GOM TV or the last?
Yeah, it was the GOM TV one. I think it was.
Yeah. Not only did he take him out, but convincingly. But anyway, singing it up here. 1-0 and Roth. Yeah, not only did he beat Jadon, but he beat him. That's true. Yeah, we gotta give him that. But hey, you never know. Tempest PvZ might be pretty good. I mean, we've been seeing him getting trashed in PvC, but he might be pretty strong against Zerg. I mean, we know Free is strong versus Zerg. We've seen him. I've seen some good games with him versus Savior when Savior was in his top, and like when he beat Jadon, he didn't just beat him like in a silly way. I mean, he really trashed him pretty badly, convincingly beating him. So I'm pretty excited. I think Free's definitely the favorite in this game, but I hope Kwanro can put up a good fight. If he plays like he did in the last game, he should be able to put up a good fight.
Yeah, the PvZ stats lately have just been awful. I mean, there's still some players winning. I mean, even Cal taking a few losses, although I'm pretty sure he beat GG Play, and he's definitely been pretty successful for the most part besides the losses in the MSL. And I'm really looking forward to see how Free plays. Especially on this new map, Carthage. I mean, a 1 versus 1 map definitely has an impact on the gameplay. I mean, you see either some really crazy unexpected build, or you see a player's really super safe build. And I think both of these players are going to play relatively, you know, not super econ, but definitely a macro favored game. I think, you know, although the base distance isn't that far, I mean, there's lots of hills, lots of bridges, so I think, especially with all the expos, and yeah, I mean, considering the temples aren't destroyed till late game, it is pretty far. So, and actually, I think, was that a 9-pool speed, or was that an overpool speed for Kwanro?
Overpool speed, I believe.
Yeah, that was an overpool speed. Sorry I didn't catch that. So, you know, opening up with a pretty standard build, and knowing by the base distance, you know, and I'm not sure, I'm not a Protoss player, do you need to build those 2 cannons? I mean...
Sorry to interrupt you, but like, who is that?
He only has one eye.
Looks like a player who's not even in the group. Yeah, Dr. K maybe? I don't know.
I think it is.
It looks almost like Best or something. Like somebody thought Best was in this group, so they showed up, but they're just like, oh shit, wait a minute. Like,
all the people in the stadium right now are probably here by accident, or they're Free fans. Yeah. So seeing a non-Free poster kind of surprises me.
Me too. It looks like he's taking drones off gas now, so we're seeing the standard 10 pool speed. He's going to get the lings out to pressure and then just put down a hatchery and probably going to go into a macro game. Oh, looks like he's actually going for the probe right away. Good micro by Free there. I mean, every second you keep the probe alive is, you know, it's a little bit of extra information that you might not have had. He can run around now and keep the probe alive until speed gets up. Okay, now I think that was speed getting up. And then that's gonna kill the probe right away. Oh no, that wasn't speed getting up yet, so the probe's still alive, but as soon as speed does get up, you cannot run the probe around anymore. And, oh, there it goes, it's dead.
8 Zerglings, though, I think that's one thing to point out. Is look at his larva. He's not building anything. He built 8 Zerglings, and then he stopped producing larva in order to build that hatchery. But, you know, that's still... You know, and you see there's the consequence of that right away. Free actually put down a 3rd cannon before his Nexus, so, you know, not exactly non-standard, but definitely really safe play. And Free setting out another probe, and actually, I think he was tricking that Overlord a little bit there. He sent the probe out and then just kind of backed it up. So I think Kwanro may be worried of another scout here. And, you know, I've been seeing a lot of Zerg play. You know, we saw last time Kwanro went for a 12 hatch into this 5 hatch normal Hydra build, and I presume that he's going to go for something similar this time. And no, he's not going to lose that Overlord. But what is the difference, at least from a Protoss perspective, when a Zerg opens with an overpool speed as opposed to just going for like a 12 pool or a 12 hatch when they go into this build?
Well, I mean, a 12 hatch gives you better. It all depends on what you do, right? I mean, if he 12 hatches and you 14 nags, you're at an advantage. If he 12 hatches and you forge cannon before Nexus, then he's got a huge macro advantage. And I mean, any macro advantage carries over hugely into a macro build sort of game. I mean, if he overpools, for instance, and you build 3 cannons before your Nexus, then he's definitely at an advantage. So, I mean, it just depends, I mean, how safe you play against the Zerglings. Free chose to play very safe against the Zerglings, so he's going to be a little bit behind. His Nexus was definitely considerably slower than the Zerg's hatchery. I mean, normally the Zerg's hatchery is going to go up a little bit earlier, so that's the standard timing. But it was quite a bit earlier in this game, and so he's definitely taking a macro lead. And of course, if you're going to play a straight up macro game, and if you're going to just kind of heavy drone whore it, then you know what I mean, that makes a big difference. So it's a good lead right now for Kwanro, but it's nothing like, you know, the game's not over by any stretch of the imagination. It's nothing decided, just Kwanro's at a slight advantage right now. That's how it works out.
Yeah, and I really have to imagine that Kwanro's going to go for this 3-hatch Hydra build and Stargate going up for free. And one thing that I think is really powerful about this Hydra build is you have the 3 Vespane geysers, and you can actually, I mean, look at, he opens up with Zergling speed, so free can't imagine to get a probe inside the natural expansion. So if Kwanro really wanted to go Mutilus and do some sort of strange Mutilus harassment, I really think he could. And that's kind of part of, you know, the Protoss is forced to build that Stargate, forced to go for Corsairs, you know, not just in defense of the Mutilus, but just to get that scout off. And even if they don't do any damage, they're still forced to do that, and that really delays any sort of aggressive move that Protoss can do on that 3rd base. And that's, you know, one of the things that I think gives away the Hydra builds going for that 3rd gas, at least from our perspective. I mean, Free, of course, doesn't know, but seeing that Kwanro goes for the 3 gases, it really, he can do whatever he wants. And actually, he has the Hydra Den out really early, and I don't see a Spire yet. I'm sorry, it goes in the, no, so it's not in the natural, it's not in the 3rd base. Looks like the Observer is looking for the Spire there, too, and Free moving out with 2 Zealots. And this is one thing that Harang 2 didn't do, and I was kind of surprised about it. And Kwanro is actually scouting his base with the Overlord. He's going to sacrifice that just to get a better view on what Free's doing. And Free looks like keeping the 2 Zealots in his base, but at least, well, right, of course. And at least moving the 2 Zealots out forces Kwanro to think, you know, okay, he's going to attack me, I need to be able to defend this. So, I mean, it slows his drone count down a little bit. And it looks like the hatcheries down are about standard timing. I mean, for some reason, he didn't make the Spire, so, I mean, it leads me to believe that unless he's going to go for some sort of strange Lurker build, that he's just getting, I guess, earlier Hydra speed. He just doesn't think that Free's going to go for anything like this. And Free's actually got 3 cannon downs in it, or 3 cannons down in his main, as opposed to Harang 2 only built 1. And now Free's going to scout that Hydra Den, and he doesn't see any larvae being saved up for the Mutilus. So, you know, probably Free just kind of playing really safe here. And although I think he's the better player, I mean, if Free keeps taking, you know, small hits like this to his economy, he's going to have a tough time battling Kwanro in the mid game.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's one of the great things about this Hydra build, because it's, you know, it's not like you can hard counter this build, because when you get the link speed early like that, especially if you go into it from an overpull speed, the Protoss doesn't know it's coming. I mean, if you know it's coming, it's easy to hard counter it. I mean, well, it's not even easy to hard counter it. Harang 2 saw it coming completely, and he was not completely prepared for it. But, I mean, Free had no idea. Free was playing completely blind, so he was forced to get those cannons up, and that is a bit of an economic hit. And actually, we see Lurkers from Kwanro, and he's going to do a bit of a minor contain here. He's playing more of an older style. He's not going for the mass Hydras. He's going to go for Lurkers to keep Free in his base until he can get, maybe secure a 4th, secure his tech, maybe even get up to Hive. And Free is skipping Reavers. He's playing the standard PVZ, where he's going to go for DT Sair, BSU build. He's got a Sair out across the map, but I can't imagine that he's going to do too much damage here with that. Kwanro has good defense up at his natural and at his expansion, so Free's not going to be able to really do anything with this.
He's going to get the Cyber Core and the Gateway. That's actually going to hurt.
Yeah. The gateway is not a big deal, but getting the cyber core kind of sucks because now he's gonna have to delay goon range. He's gonna have to build that again. And if he hasn't started a robotics yet, and he loses that cyber core, that's really gonna suck. Actually, he built a lot of coursers there, a lot more coursers than I saw, and both overlords going down. So the Dark Templar in here is gonna do some damage, and this is exactly what Free needed to do to get back in this game. He's gonna get at least 5 kills here. So. Oh no, he somehow fucked up and did not get any more drone kills.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that.
Yeah, really.
That was kind of strange DT micro from Free there. And, you know, not only are those cannons now exposed, but he lost the cyber core and the gateway, like you said. So, I mean, he's definitely susceptible to an attack here, not only because of, you know, the cannons, but he's forced to rebuild all those things. And, you know, I think he already has his gateways down, but that's going to at least slow down unit production a little bit there. And, oh, he did actually build a second cybernetics core as well as a robotic, so really not delaying the tech at all there. And Kwanro, you know, got the 5 hatcheries down. He's pretty much content probably pretty soon here on drone count. It doesn't seem too high. I mean, he built the lurkers early on, but he's probably just about to finish up his drone count here. And see how he's forced to build that spore and get overload speed because of the Corsairs. So really good move here by Free, going for the Corsairs. I'm not sure if he got +1, I wasn't watching, but you know, the Corsair harassment early on, I mean, really messed up Kwanro because Kwanro decided to maybe get a little bit greedy, didn't go for the Spire.